This here is the iconic and remarkable Bay Bridge that connects San Francisco to Oakland and the East Bay. It took 3 years to build and it opened in 1933. In fact, 6 months before the Golden Gate Bridge. But that is not the end of its story. In 2013, it went through 2 major upgrades. The eastern span, formerly a cantilever bridge, it was replaced by a beautiful new self-anchoring tower and 2 wide decks now placed side by side, offering beautiful views on either approach. And you've got to check those out. But earlier that same year, the western span would not be outdone, and it featured a little trick up its sleeve as well. That upgrade would be a light display across the entire north-facing half of its 1.8, let's call it 2-mile span that would crawl up to 500 feet to the top of its towers. That display was called the Bay Lights, featuring artist Leo Villareal, which was this dazzling collection of 25,000, again, 25,000 LED white lights.
These strands of light, 100 individual bulbs per strand for a grand total of 25,000 imported Italian twinkle lights.
I think you might be overdoing it, Dad.
Russ, when was the last time I overdid anything?
And that is an impressive engineering feat. I mean, can you feel me? That when I say that sometimes it's a challenge just trying to string up 100 lights at home. And these lights, they don't just stay on stationary or just blink. They actually would cycle through various patterns, shapes, and movements that never repeated. The Bay Lights artist Leo Villareal would make even Clark Griswold proud. But this week on March the 5th, exactly 10 years from its first day, the Bay Lights have now turned off. And this is from just years of wear from the Bay Area weather. And if you live here, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the wind, fog, all the extreme temperature shifts that the bridge is subject to. And to rehab this display would just cost millions. And it's just unsure if they're going to get the funding for it. So there's nothing like wrong with the lights, or it's not like people didn't like them. It's simply they've just worn out and past their prime. It's like when people don't want to say it out loud, but the lights have grown old. But to be honest, even without the Bay Lights, the Bay Bridge for me is still a beautiful spectacle to observe, especially in the evening hours, seeing the far distant twinkle of the lights from the East Bay. And during this evening, we got to witness the rising of the full moon from the clouds. And in fact, not having the Bay Lights on actually made it easier to see the moon rising. This here where I'm at is one of my favorite viewing spots. It's at Pier 14, and it's just steps away from the Barcadero ferry building. From this pier, you can observe the western Bay Bridge span mostly unobstructed until it just fades into the city maze of buildings. Again, I just love this time of day where the buildings just start to glow. On the other side of the pier, you can see the ferry building, Coit Tower, and the humming, the buzzing of the birds, boats, and sometimes an occasional creature in the bay waters. This video isn't being paid or sponsored, so if you are enjoying the video, please take this moment to like the video, subscribe to my channel, because I would greatly appreciate all the support. I hope you have the opportunity to visit San Francisco, this pier, and enjoying the views of this remarkable city, and of course, the Bay Bridge that connects all of us together. Thanks all, have a good one.